G'day YouTube. It's a cracking summer's day here in Sydney, and I've just been out doing some garden work and thought I'd do a species spotlight on nepenthes truncata. It's one of my favourite species. They're absolutely huge in the mountain ranges of Philippines. You can see here, this is a newer one I've got from Carnivoro. It's a truncata red. You can see there the colours are coming in absolutely beautifully. I've only had this one a couple of months. That was my first picture, but I'm expecting this to look absolutely stunning when it gets some size on. There's a little ant crawling on the peristome. You can go in for a snack. So I thought I'd show you around my collection and show off the new truncata garden I've set up. There's a few hybrids in there as well, a couple non-truncatas, but they seem fitting in the space. So I'll take you down and give you a run through. So there's a close-up of the truncata red. So the light's a bit funky here, coming through the trees, so it might struggle a little bit. But yeah, starting over this side, got a beautiful truncata edwardsiana, which is starting to get some serious size here. I think I showed this in my last outdoor tour video, and that's got to be at least 40 centimeters tall now, that one. Hopefully this one's going to get bigger. Yeah, it's pretty close to similar size now. What have we got here? This is a stunning truncata veitchii, also from EP. Starting to finally put on some nice size and some nice colour. Stepping in. This is the boschiata veitchii. This isn't truncata, but it seemed like it would fit in here nicely. Another truncata Persian red. This is the BE one I've had for a while. Sort of a few smaller pictures. Hopefully coming into summer now. Well, we are in summer now, and they're starting to put up some better sizes. So hopefully I'll get some good pictures on this in the next few months. Truncata alba from EP. This is getting to be a massive plant. You can see the old picture there starting to wear out. There's a new one coming in the back there. What else is here? Truncata epiphyata, which is just lining along. This is just settling into being out here. I only just moved it out recently. Got a nice climbing form of veitchii there. Something, little caterpillar ate the growth tip, unfortunately, but once that settles in, it should be nice. My third truncata red here, which is hanging in the tree now, and sorry, something buzzing around me. Now this is a great example of what not to do when you get a new plant. You can see all the sunburn here on the older leaves. The new ones are coming in nicely. I've actually just moved this out of the greenhouse, so it will live on the other side of the tree in a bit more shade. But when I first got this off a mate, I didn't think about what conditions he had it in. He's in an indoor greenhouse, no natural sunlight, and so when it arrived here, I put it out here with my other truncatas, which you can see there does get quite a lot of direct sunlight depending on the time of day. That tree's filled in nicely now, which is giving it a bit more shade. But this thing just burnt to a crisp in a day. Thankfully, it's not going to kill the plant, but it definitely knocked it around a little bit. But I'm happy to see there's a new picture coming there. This is a giant cross giant from EP, so I'm guessing this is going to be a serious sized plant once it settles in. So up here in the trees, you've got a truncata vogellii there. It's getting a decent sized plant as well. One of my favourite hybrids is truncata peltata, or peltata truncata from EP. Just stunning red pictures. I'm trying to find a fresh one. Even though when the peristomes first open, they're absolutely gorgeous. This thing's got about 3 growth points on it, just going wild. You can see there hanging in it, nice truncata ovata upper. I think there's a few floating around in there. He's just going to wind up through the tree there. Actually spotted, I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's a little that leaf there is a little basil starting. I could probably trim away some of this dead stuff now. But as you may have seen in previous videos, here is my first ever truncata, which is just absolutely giant. Now, there's the basil down there. I've got this in a 50-litre pot. That's actually mostly for stability. It probably doesn't really need a pot that big. I barely need to water this plant because they don't take a heap of water, and the media just seems to stay moist below the surface for ages as it is. And the most exciting thing is, this is flowering again. Now, it is a smaller flower, and when I gave this thing a repot back in March, so just under a year ago, it was in a real bad old sphagnum mix, and it wasn't all that happy. So I think washing all the old sphagnum off gave the roots a bit of a beat up, so the plant's taken a while to recover. But I think after this flower, the next ones should come back to what I had last year. And same with the pictures. Although stunning, they're quite small for this plant. I've had pictures as big as 47 centimetres off this thing, which is it's absolutely giant. It's amazing to see. Just having a look at a new picture coming there. It skipped quite a few pictures settling into the pot after repotting. But onto the care of these guys. So you can see here, usually I go a relatively small pot for the most part. This has just been repotted. It's gone into a 200ml pot, but it's quite shallow, so there's not a heap of media. And they definitely prefer a nice chunky mix. You can see there I've got coconut chips. It's quite a large chip, and there's some jumbo perlite mixed in. It's probably a 50-50 mix, but it looks like the perlites stayed down the bottom and the chips have sat on top more. Now, I think in the wild they do grow quite epiphytically. I'm not going to try and replicate that on the trees here. I'll keep them happy in pots. That way I can swap the media out when I need to. And what else about them? They can definitely take a lot more sun than a lot of nepenthes. Setting everything up out here, and if you've seen my videos before, you would have seen the other fence. I'll just zoom in there, where plant's running all the way down there. But it's definitely been a bit of a trick, moving stuff around, figuring out what grows well, what's going to get burnt in different situations. Sometimes they just need some time to settle in. Like I know once this is settled in to the new growth out here, it will take a lot more sun than it did take when I first got it. But they seem pretty happy. These get direct light for a couple of hours. You can see no real sunburn on the leaves. I get a little bit of oedema. We had quite a lot of rain for a few weeks. And yeah, I suppose everyone says keep them warm. They are a lowland plant, but I know they get down to, we have days down to 15 degrees here in winter, and the nights can drop as low as 5 degrees, and they seem happy enough. They tend to slow right down, the pitches shrink, but once they've settled back in, they take off, no worries, and I've never seen it actually harm the plants. So you do get a bit of the old, rodents chewing on things, and a few more caterpillars out here. But yeah, I think that's all I can really think of for truncata care and tips. Not too much water, good coarse media. They can definitely take lower humidity as well than some plants that you just wouldn't put in anything under about 80%. I mean, it's usually 60 to 70% here where I live, and then in my garden here with all the plants and trees around, it probably sits even higher. I should actually get a sensor out here and check it out. So yeah, they don't need the humidity of others. Plenty of sunlight, good coarse media, good drainage, and don't keep them soaking wet. And that's probably all you need to know about these guys, because they will just grow pretty happily in anything. I do know a lot of people use sphagnum moss, and I did for years, but I'll never go back to it again. After seeing the old rotten stuff coming out of my pots, this cocoa will be great for years to come. And when I have to repot them out of it into a larger pot, I don't need to wash the roots out as much. So I'll leave it there for today, and hope you guys had a great Christmas and New Year's period, enjoying the holidays, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.